Good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream, and I'm going to do your June the 22nd just for today in a meditation. Let's go ahead and get into that. If you need to reach me, feel free to do so at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. Hopefully you can see that. The title of today's meditation, Accepting Life as It Is. In our recovery, we find it essential to accept reality. Once we can do this, we do not find it necessary to use drugs in an attempt to change our perceptions. That comes from the basic text, page 90. Drugs used to buffer us from the full force of life. When we stop using drugs and enter recovery, we find ourselves confronted directly with life. We may experience disappointment, frustration, or anger. Events may not happen the way we want them to. The self-centeredness we cultivated in our addiction has distorted our perceptions of life. It is difficult to let go of our expectations and accept life as it is. We learn to accept our lives by working the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous. We discover how to change our attitudes and let go of character defects. We no longer need to distort the truth or to run from situations. The more we practice the spiritual principles contained in the steps, the easier it becomes to accept life exactly as it comes to us. Just for today, I will practice self-acceptance by practicing the 12 steps. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. What a powerful meditation, accepting life as it is. When we talk about the ability to accept reality and not having the need to change our perceptions. Because here's the thing, reality is just what it is. It's life on its own terms. It's the waking up early in the morning, not getting enough rest, sometimes getting too much rest, being manic sometimes having to work for less than we really want to because we need to make ends meet, losing loved ones, divorce, relationship issues, service issues. There's so many things that happen in the course of a day that we just have to deal with. We need to deal with whatever it brings to the table and say, okay, this is something that I can change. Now I just need the courage to be able to do it. Or I can't change this. This is out of my sphere of influence. And I just need to have some self-acceptance with this. And of course, we need to be wise about that. We need to have the wisdom to know the difference. Reality is reality. And it doesn't matter how much a person uses drugs, it's not going to change the fact that reality is what it is. Let me give you an example. My sister passed away many years ago. It's been well over a decade, getting close to 20 years, actually. Okay. So she passes away. And when I get the news, I'm out west. I'm in the middle of opening a recovery home, a halfway house for women out west. I'm working as a community chaplain for the Department of Corrections in Oregon. And this home is going to be a place where people can come, women can come releasing from prison. That was my personal reality. That was my personal reality. And that was not going to change. That the opening date for that was Mother's Day. And here I am, less than 2 weeks before the opening date, receiving the news that my beloved sister has passed away. I think at that time, gosh, I want to say I had 15 years or more. Yeah, I want to say I had about 15 years in the program, maybe more like 14, 13, 14 years clean. But at that particular time, do you think if I had used drugs that she would have been brought back to life? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Do you think my using drugs would have changed the fact that I now had a funeral that I needed to attend and support my mother, who had just suddenly lost her daughter? Do you think that that change would have changed anything? It would not have changed a single thing. It may have increased the possibility of me not being present for the service, not being present for the opening of the women's home if I had used. My using drugs or even yours does not change reality. It distorts my perception of life. But as soon as I come clean again, I'm going to be faced with dealing with those emotions, all of those things that I evaded, right? And so today, one of the beautiful things about being in recovery is I don't need a buffer anymore. I don't need drugs to buffer me from the full force of life. I can face it head on and I can experience disappointment, frustration, or anger. I can experience all of that. I can also experience love, peace, and happiness, joy. I can experience all of it. I don't need a buffer anymore. What you see is what you get. And sometimes you get a person that is not, always focused on the here and now. But most of the time, you get a person that is loving and caring and present, wanting to be present, saying yes and really meaning it, saying no, drawing boundaries and really meaning it. That is self-acceptance because I understand who and whose I am today, right? I have a relationship with the God of my understanding today. And there's no situation that can change any of that. I am who I am. You are who you are. With all of the flaws and all of the beauty marks. You're who you are. And we can accept life as it is today. And that is a wonderful thing. My name is Mighty Stream. I mean, if you can convince me otherwise, go ahead. But I don't think you can. I don't think you can convince me that the life we live today is far more beautiful than a life of distortion through the use of substances. I get to live today, and so do you. So while we're living today, let's have a beautiful day on purpose. I intend to. Talk to you soon.